There are behaviors you already practice, habits so subtle, so familiar, you barely notice them. Yet every one of them weakens you, quietly, silently, and without resistance. Most people believe power is taken from them by force. But Machiavelli revealed a darker truth. Power is lost from within, slowly, consistently, through invisible behaviors you never question. Today, you will confront those behaviors. You will see them clearly, without excuses, without illusions. And once you understand them, you can cut them out one by one, the same way a ruler removes threats. Calmly, strategically, and without hesitation. Because if you don't, these behaviors will rule you. They will make you predictable, emotional, manipulable, and weak in the eyes of others. This is 10 dangerous behaviors that quietly destroy your power, Machiavelli. Let's begin. 1. Letting your emotions leak in public. Nothing destroys power faster than emotional leakage. Anger, frustration, desperation, even excitement, when shown too openly, exposes your inner world. Machiavelli warned that a leader must be like a fox and a lion, ferocious when needed, unreadable at all times. When your emotions leak out, people can predict you, and prediction is control. Your reactions become a map others can exploit. Think about the last time someone irritated you. If they saw the anger on your face, you handed them influence. If they didn't, you kept control. Power belongs to those who can feel without revealing. Effective affirmation. I remain unreadable. My emotions serve me, not others. 2. Apologizing for existing. There's a kind of apology that isn't verbal. It shows up in your posture, your tone, your hesitation. When you shrink yourself for others, when you speak as if your words need permission, you broadcast inferiority. And inferiority invites domination. Carl Jung said, "The world will ask you who you are. And if you do not know, the world will tell you." Every needless apology signals uncertainty. Every shrinking gesture tells others your presence is negotiable. Power is never negotiated, only asserted. Effective affirmation. I take up space without apology. I exist without permission. 3. Over-explaining yourself. Weak people talk too much. Strong people speak only when they must. When you justify every decision, every preference, every boundary, you hand over your authority. Machiavelli observed that a ruler must avoid explanations unless necessary. Why? Because explanations invite debate. Debate invites opposition. And opposition invites chaos. Imagine telling someone, "I can't do that tonight. I'm tired. It's been a long week. I need rest." You've given them rope. Rope they can tighten around you. "Come on, it's just 1 hour. You said you were free earlier. You'll be fine." A powerful person simply says, "No, that time is already reserved." Short, closed, final. Effective affirmation. My boundaries are statements, not discussions. 4. Seeking constant reassurance. This is one of the most quietly destructive behaviors, because people rarely admit they do it. Asking, "Was that okay? Do you think I can do this? Are you sure you're not upset with me?" These questions are invitations for others to judge you. And judgment is power. Psychologist Alfred Adler said, "The desire for approval makes us dependent. Dependency is the enemy of strength. It makes you afraid to act without permission, afraid to speak without validation, afraid to move without applause." Powerful people seek clarity, not reassurance. Effective affirmation. I don't need permission to be who I am. 5. Ignoring disrespect the first time. Disrespect is never isolated. It is a test, a probe, a small stone thrown to see whether the surface breaks. If you let the first disrespect slide, you send a silent message. There is no consequence. From that moment on, people escalate. They push. They test. They climb onto your head 1 inch at a time. Robert Greene wrote, "Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter." In other words, handle disrespect early, once, and decisively. Not emotionally. Not loudly. Just clearly. A boundary enforced silently is louder than a boundary shouted. Effective affirmation. I confront disrespect immediately. I do not negotiate my dignity. 6. Giving too much information too soon. Information is currency. Information is leverage. Information is power. And most people give it away for free. Think of the people you meet who immediately reveal their relationship struggles, their financial issues, their insecurities, their dreams, their entire life story. It may feel like honesty, but in the game of power, it is exposure. Machiavelli warned against revealing your intentions prematurely. A silent mind is harder to control than an open one. Let people wonder. Let them guess. Let them misinterpret. Silence is strategic ambiguity, and ambiguity forces others to respect you. Effective affirmation. I reveal little. I observe much. 7. Chasing people who withdraw from you. The moment you chase, you lose leverage. The moment you pursue, you surrender position. When someone pulls away, their behavior is communication. They're signaling, my value is higher than yours. You should prove yourself. If you accept this frame, you enter the interaction already defeated. In strategy, the one who needs nothing holds everything. Emotional detachment is not cruelty. It is self-preservation. Roman General Scipio Africanus said, I would rather have people wonder why I do not chase than wonder why I do. The powerful never chase. They attract through presence, self-possession, and scarcity. Effective affirmation. I do not pursue those who retreat. I remain sovereign. 8. Needing to win every argument. The need to win is one of the deadliest ego traps. Victory in an argument rarely produces real power. Often it creates resentment, hidden rivalry, quiet revenge. Machiavelli noted that humiliating another person, even through logic, sows the seeds of future rebellion. Sometimes the strongest move is to stay silent, to let the other person believe what they wish, to conserve your energy for the battles that matter. A general does not waste arrows on insects. The powerful understand something simple. Arguments drain power. Strategy builds it. Effective affirmation. I choose battles wisely. My silence is sometimes my sharpest weapon. 9. Living without a strategic plan. Most people drift through life without intention. They wake up reactive, not proactive. They respond to circumstances instead of designing them. This is not how power functions. Power requires direction. A long view, a private roadmap that guides your actions, your alliances, your sacrifices. Machiavelli taught that a prince must never be idle. A leader must always be preparing, positioning, and planning. Because without a plan, you become a piece on someone else's board. Think about it. Every powerful figure in history operated with a long-range vision. Caesar crossing the Rubicon. Napoleon calculating every campaign. Modern leaders engineering long-term influence. Meanwhile, the powerless live day to day, driven by impulse, emotion, distractions, and chance. A strategic plan is more than a goal. It is a compass. And without one, you wander. You adapt to others' expectations. You serve other people's ambitions. You lose yourself in the current. Power demands a vector. Effective affirmation. My life moves with intention. I act according to design, not impulse. 10. Fearing being alone with yourself. One of the most dangerous anti-power behaviors is the inability to be alone. Most people fear solitude because it forces them to face truth, their weaknesses, their regrets, their unrealized potential. So they drown themselves in noise, phones, social media, endless conversations, mindless entertainment. Carl Jung warned that loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that matter. If you cannot sit alone in silence, if you cannot reflect without distraction, if you cannot endure your own thoughts, then you cannot rule your mind. And if you cannot rule your mind, you cannot rule anything outside of it. Solitude is where strategy is born, where clarity sharpens, where self-respect forms. The The most powerful people throughout history, philosophers, generals, emperors, mystics, all used solitude as a weapon. Silence is not emptiness. It is construction. Effective affirmation. Solitude strengthens me. My mind is a fortress, not a prison. Scenario. The quiet fall of a strong person. Consider a person who believes they are powerful, confident, charismatic, respected. But slowly, quietly, they begin engaging in the behaviors you've learned so far. They reveal too much. They let small disrespect pass. They seek reassurance from people beneath them. They over-explain, over-apologize, overreact. Their power doesn't collapse instantly. It erodes. Their friends begin to treat them casually. Their partner tests boundaries more often. Their coworkers interrupt them in meetings. Their decisions are questioned. Their presence becomes ordinary. They wonder what happened. But the truth is simple. Power is lost long before it is noticed. It dies in tiny, invisible cuts. Cuts created by behavior. Pause. This video is not about fear. It is about clarity. Because once you recognize the sources of power erosion, you can reverse them. You can rebuild yourself strategically, intentionally, and without illusion. But to rise, you must first understand why people lose power at all. The answer lies in one universal principle. Weak behavior always precedes a weak outcome. The secret behind power loss. Here is the truth most refuse to accept. Power is not taken by others. It is relinquished by yourself. The dangerous behaviors you've learned, they are voluntary. They are practiced. They are repeated. They are habits. Habits that slowly shape your identity. Habits that convince the world you can be ignored. Habits that broadcast uncertainty, insecurity, and fear. But habits can be broken, rewritten, replaced. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors those who are bold enough to seize control of their nature, not excuse it. This script is not meant to scare you. It is meant to awaken you. Because once you recognize self-sabotage, you can eliminate it. Once you eliminate it, you can rebuild psychological power. Once you rebuild psychological power, your presence begins to shift. Your energy stabilizes. Your boundaries strengthen. Your speech sharpens. Your silence deepens. People feel it. People respond to it. People adjust to it. Power radiates from those who correct their behavior. And it begins in the mind long before it appears in the world. Now that we've explored the first 8 dangerous behaviors and the psychological mechanics behind why power erodes, we move into the final phase of this transformation. These last lessons are not merely concepts. They are practical corrections, mental operating systems, internal frameworks. Adopt them and you will become unshakable. Ignore them and you will repeat the same patterns that weaken you. In the next section, we go deeper, sharper, more strategic. The remaining behaviors will not just teach you what destroys power. They will show you how to protect it, grow it, and weaponize it. 11. Giving your energy to low-value conflicts. One of the most subtle power leaks is wasted energy. You may not notice it, but every unnecessary argument, every emotional debate, every small feud drains you, and when you're drained, you become predictable. You become reactive. You become easy to provoke. Sun Tzu warned, if your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Those who can be easily irritated are the easiest to manipulate. Low-value conflicts are traps. People bait you into reacting because they want access to your focus. Your attention is fuel, and every time you give it away, you hand someone else the steering wheel of your mind. Powerful people do not fight every battle. They choose selectively, strategically, and with restraint. They conserve their emotional resources like generals preserving troops for a decisive war. Ask yourself, does this conflict advance my goals? Does this argument benefit my position? Does this reaction protect my dignity? If the answer is no, you walk away, not out of fear, but because you refuse to be drained. Effective affirmation. My attention is valuable. I spend it only where it elevates me. 12. Letting people overrun your time. Your time is the foundation of your power. Yet most people treat it like an open public playground. They allow interruptions. They accept invitations out of guilt. They say yes because they fear disappointing others. But every forced yes is a betrayal of yourself. Machiavelli advised rulers to regulate their time strictly. Time must serve strategy, not convenience. Because control of time creates control of outcomes. Consider the powerful. CEOs, generals, commanders, leaders. Their time is structured, guarded, prioritized. No one simply drops in and takes a slice of it. Why? Because time is authority. Time is hierarchy. Time is influence. When you let others violate your schedule, they are not simply stealing minutes. They are stealing position. Person who dictates your time begins to dictate your life. Protect your calendar. Guard your hours. Control your availability. Scarcity increases value. Effective affirmation. My time is a fortress. Only the deserving gain entry. Thought experiment. The invisible emperor. Imagine a kingdom where the walls look strong, but inside, small cracks run beneath the stone. The citizens don't revolt. The guards don't rebel. The enemies don't attack. Yet the kingdom is falling. Quietly, from its own carelessness. The emperor is unaware. He laughs with his advisors. He trusts too freely. He reveals his plans openly. He ignores small acts of disrespect. He grows emotional in public. He wastes his energy on trivialities. Nothing dramatic happens. No coup. No invasion. No riots. But over time, his authority fades. His commands weaken. His influence dissolves. And one day, he wakes up and realizes he is emperor only in title, not in truth. This emperor is not a character. He is a metaphor, a reflection of any person who ignores the small habits that erode power. Power rarely collapses with a bang. It dissolves slowly, invisibly, internally. This video is not here to condemn you. It is here to show you the cracks, so you can repair them before your kingdom falls silently within you. The shift from weakness to power. Power is not a personality trait. It is a discipline, a set of behaviors practiced deliberately. The weak rely on emotion. The powerful rely on awareness. The weak reveal everything. The powerful reveal selectively. The weak seek constant reassurance. The powerful build internal certainty. The weak react. The powerful observe. Once you correct your behavior, your aura changes. People feel something different around you. A solidity, a cold calmness, an unspoken authority. That shift begins with recognizing the final behavior, perhaps the most dangerous of all. 13. Betraying your own instincts. This is the quietest killer of power. Every time you sense something is wrong, and ignore it, every time your intuition warns you, and you overrule it, every time you feel disrespected, and pretend you're overreacting, you weaken yourself. Your instincts are ancient. They are older than language, older than civilization. They exist to protect you. Psychologist Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But you cannot become who you truly are if you silence the voice inside you." Powerful people listen to their gut, not blindly, but as data, information, signal. The powerless betray their instincts because they fear consequences. They fear conflict. They fear being wrong. They fear losing comfort. But betraying yourself is the fastest path to internal collapse. You lose trust in your own mind. Your spirit weakens. Your confidence erodes from the inside. And when you no longer trust yourself, others will not trust you either. Set a rule today. You do not abandon yourself. Not for approval, not for comfort, not for anyone. Effective affirmation. I honor my instincts. I stand with myself, never against myself. You have now learned 13 destructive behaviors that quietly dissolve inner power. These behaviors are subtle, familiar, and dangerously easy to dismiss. But recognizing them is only the beginning. In the final section, we will Seal these lessons together. Transform them into a practical framework. Deliver a closing message that leaves the viewer stronger, sharper, and more sovereign than before. The unseen root of power loss. Now that you've seen each behavior, the emotional leakage, the oversharing, the chasing, the boundary erosion, the fear of solitude, the neglect of instinct, it's time to understand the hidden root tying them all together. Every destructive behavior stems from a single psychological flaw: self-abandonment. The powerless abandon themselves for acceptance. They abandon themselves for validation. They abandon themselves for comfort. They abandon themselves to avoid discomfort. Powerful people do the opposite. They remain aligned with themselves even when it costs them something, even when it stings, even when it isolates them. Self-loyalty is the foundation of personal authority. Without it, every other lesson crumbles. When you betray yourself, the world mirrors the betrayal. When you stand with yourself, the world adjusts in your favor. This final phase will transform these lessons from ideas into discipline, from knowledge into identity. Pause. Let's seal these teachings into your mind. The framework of personal power. To rebuild power, you must adopt a new psychological operating system. Think of it as a Machiavellian internal code, a strategy for living, thinking, and responding. This framework has 3 pillars. 1. Emotional sovereignty. You control your reactions. You own your expressions. You feel deeply, but reveal selectively. 2. Strategic silence. You guard your intentions. You speak with purpose. You protect your time, your information, your focus. 3. Relentless self-respect. You enforce boundaries. You walk away from disrespect. You trust your instincts. You do not chase. These pillars rebuild the inner kingdom, the psychological structure that external power grows from. Without them, no technique will save you. With them, no obstacle will break you. The transformation. A scenario. Imagine waking up tomorrow with these principles wired into your mind. You walk into a room, not hurried, not tense, not performative, just steady. People feel the shift instantly. Your silence holds weight. Your gaze is calm but unreadable. Your presence doesn't beg for approval. Someone tests you with a passive tone, a small disrespect. You don't react emotionally, but you don't let it slide either. You handle it quietly, decisively, maturely. A coworker asks a question meant to corner you. You respond simply. No over-explaining. No defensiveness. No justification. At lunch, someone tries to pull you into trivial gossip. You choose not to waste your energy. You save your strength for real battles. Later, a friend withdraws unexpectedly. You don't chase. You don't spiral. You don't beg. You let distance reveal truth. You return home, sit in solitude, and instead of fearing silence, you use it. You think strategically. You observe your own patterns. You plan your next moves. You sleep with clarity, not noise. This is transformation, not a dramatic overnight explosion, but the steady rise of a person becoming untouchable from within. This is how power is built. Calmly, deliberately, quietly. The final lesson. Power begins where excuses end. Every weak behavior you've learned in this video has one thing in common. It is justified by excuses. I didn't want to cause trouble. I didn't want to seem rude. I didn't want to lose them. I didn't want to make things awkward. I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to be alone. Excuses are chains. Excuses are submission. Excuses are self-imprisonment. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. You are the ruler of your life. And the men around you are your habits, your behaviors, your thoughts. If they are weak, you are weak. If they are strong, you become formidable." This video is not just a warning. It is a mirror, a map, a toolkit, a transformation. Because once you see the behaviors that destroy power, you can eliminate them. And once you eliminate them, you create space for strength, clarity, confidence, and authority. Summary of the 10 dangerous behaviors. Let's close by revisiting the lessons clean and sharp. 1. Letting your emotions leak in public. 2. Apologizing for existing. 3. Over-explaining yourself. 4. Seeking constant reassurance. 5. Ignoring disrespect the first time. 6. Giving too much information too soon. 7. Chasing people who withdraw. 8. Needing to win every argument. 9. Living without a strategic plan. 10. Fearing being alone with yourself. 11. Giving energy to low-value conflicts. 12. Letting people overrun your time. 13. Betraying your instincts. If you correct just one of these behaviors, your power increases. Correct several, and you evolve into a version of yourself you've only imagined. Correct all of them, and you become psychologically untouchable. Closing message. Powerful outro. You've just learned the behaviors that quietly dissolve your inner strength. But knowledge is nothing without discipline. You now stand at a crossroads. Continue living with these habits, or begin the transformation toward becoming someone who cannot be manipulated, controlled, underestimated, or ignored. The choice, as Machiavelli would say, is not between good or evil. It is between weakness and power. If this video sharpened your mind, if it revealed something about yourself you needed to see, support this channel so we can continue creating content that empowers you. Like this video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which behavior you will eliminate first. Your transformation begins now, not tomorrow, not someday, now.